Undercover CO's touching act transforms Waitress's life after 5 unbelievable minutes. The bell above the diner door jingled, a familiar sound in Riverton, where the clanging of pots and bustling of customers filled the air like an old song. Sarah, a single mother of 2, balanced a tray of steaming pancakes and syrup with one hand while juggling her responsibilities with the other. Each plate she served was heavy with not just food, but dreams unfulfilled and worries piling up like dirty dishes after closing time. "Another day, another dollar," she whispered to herself, though the words felt hollow. Beneath her cheerful demeanor lay a gnawing fear that no amount of coffee poured could quiet. Every day was a relentless cycle of early mornings, late nights, and worry, a precarious dance to keep food on the table. Bills were due, rent loomed, and the whispers of her unaccomplished past taunted her. The American dream seemed like another table with a reserved sign, always out of reach. She could feel a lump in her throat each time a customer tipped her $1, a reminder of her struggle to provide for her children. The weight of having to stretch single earnings into a reachable future felt heavier than the trays she carried. As chaos erupted in the diner during the lunch rush, Sarah remained a calming presence. She soothed a crying toddler while juggling orders, trying to ignore the buzz of disappointment when the coffee ran cold. Yet a flicker of doubt gripped her. What if this was it? What if her children were destined to repeat the same struggles she faced? Could she still provide for their futures without completely losing herself? Amidst the noise, a new face appeared. Dressed inconspicuously in jeans and a t-shirt, Jack slid into a booth. He was just another customer at first glance, but something intrigued Sarah about the way he observed the diner's rhythm. She wondered, was he also looking for a simple meal, or perhaps a break from a life that felt unbearably suffocating? Before she could ponder any further, a sudden storm rolled in, dark clouds casting shadows in the diner as thunderclaps rattled the windows. The lights flickered, then went out, creating a momentary hush before frustration swelled among patrons. Panic threatened to seep in, but Sarah's instincts kicked in. She reached into her pocket, pulling out a few bills to help pay for a couple's meal who wore stricken looks as they realized they couldn't pay. At that moment, Jack couldn't look away. He felt a swell of admiration for her, an exquisite blend of grace, determination, and kindness. She was a mother fighting fiercely against a tide of uncertainty. Why is she giving away her own money, he wondered, witnessing selflessness in the midst of chaos. He felt a growing need to intervene, to help. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. But the murmurs of disbelief from customers filled the diner as the power remained absent, shadows casting doubt. Sarah's heart raced. She was trapped in a whirlwind of emotions, teetering between hope and despair. What if nothing changed? What if her dreams for her children were crushed by loans and stagnation? Would this act of kindness be worth it in the end? As the storm raged outside, a storm brewed within her, and her thoughts tangled in knots of uncertainty. The weight of that moment pressed down harder. Jack stood to leave, but he felt a powerful push, a longing to make a difference echoing in his heart. Would he be brave enough to announce his identity and offer her the help she could only dream of? The diner was alive with tension as he stepped closer, ready to reveal the truth. Yet deep within Sarah, an exhale of desperation lingered, leaving an unanswered question: can a single moment redefine everything? The darkness swallowed the diner, but in that stillness, Sarah's instincts sharpened. She moved nimbly through the room, her hands reaching out to reassure those around her. A quiet determination brewed within her, ignited by a flicker of hope. She couldn't let despair win, not today. "We'll be all right," she declared, her voice steady despite the palpable tension. Douglas, the elderly regular, nodded appreciatively, his faith evident in the crease of his smile. However, Jack's presence weighed on her thoughts. He radiated an energy that stirred something deep inside her, a feeling she desperately wanted to explore but feared to acknowledge. Where did he fit into her chaotic world? The kids, the bills? She couldn't let her dreams intertwine with a stranger's kindness. Yet the unspoken connection between them was undeniable. He was different. Her heart raced, not entirely from fear, but from a burgeoning sense of possibility. As she rejoined the clamor of her duties, Sarah's mind battled with what was tangible and what seemed merely wishful thinking. She served food, provided comfort, and filled coffee cups, all while wondering if she could transform her own life the way she managed the chaotic dining experience. With each small act of kindness, she realized she was undermining the narrative of her worth. The harder she fought against the currents of disappointment, the more she recognized the power of her own resilience. The power flickered back on with a sudden jolt, illuminating the diner and the faces glowing with relief. Sarah took a deep breath, a wave of gratitude washing over her as she served the next batch of pancakes. But the moment also stirred a sense of urgency. This was more than just a job. It was a battlefield on which she was waging a critical war for her children's future. The revelations of her own capabilities began to emerge. She was not just a waitress, she was a fighter. Jack's keen eyes noticed every nuance of her resolve. He observed as Sarah quelled complaints, juggled orders, and soothed worries, all while concealing her internal tempest. The harmony she created amidst adversity was remarkable. But Jack sensed more beneath the surface, something that could break free if only their paths intersected with intent. After the rush dwindled and peace regained its hold, Sarah found herself wiping down the counter, lost in thought about the choices that lay ahead. Each scrape of the rag against the wood became a meditative act, a moment to reassess her priorities. Could she find a way to dream again, to not just survive but thrive? Jack gathered his belongings and approached her table, courage shimmering in his eyes. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice a calming undertone against the din. Sarah hesitated, her pulse quickening with both intrigue and dread. What could this moment lead to? Could he really offer her something tangible? The choices she made from this point forward would have reverberations far beyond that booth. Only moments ago, she'd felt ensnared by her circumstances. Now, standing on the precipice of an unexpected opportunity, her inner voice urged her to confront the unease that had held her captive. She could choose to learn from this encounter, strive for something greater, or let it slip away like so many other fleeting chances. Are you ready to face the answers that may come? The uncertainty coiled tightly around her heart, but so did the pulse of determination. She looked up at Jack, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. His presence was an invitation, an opening into the unknown. As the bell above the door jingled once more, signaling another new face stepping in, Sarah realized her journey was just beginning. This moment could very well redefine everything she had thought impossible. Would she seize it, or would fear hold her back once again? Amid the bustle of the diner, a question echoed louder than the clinking of silverware. What would happen next? Sarah blinked, the haze of uncertainty mingling with curiosity as she met Jack's gaze. The weight of his question hung heavily in the air, daring her to acknowledge the flickering flames of opportunity. She could feel her pulse racing, not just from the anxiety of the moment, but from the glimmer of hope he represented, a path forward she had not considered in years. "Sure," she replied, forcing a calmness into her voice that she didn't entirely feel. Together, they retreated to the far corner of the diner, away from the bustle, yet close enough to feel the warmth of shared purpose. This small, intimate setting awoke old memories of dreams unfulfilled, of aspirations she had set aside for practicality. It felt both thrilling and terrifying. Jack observed her attentively, his expression a mix of concern and admiration. "You were incredible during the blackout," he began, genuine respect lacing his words. "The way you handled everything, the way you brought calm in chaos, that's no easy feat." A smile crept onto Sarah's face, ignited by recognition and acknowledgement. "It's just," she faltered, her voice dropping to a whisper infused with self-doubt. "It's what I have to do. My kids depend on me." The thought of her children ignited a fiercer flame within her. Every plate of food she served, every comforting word she offered, was a tiny rebellion against the defeat she often felt ghosting her life. "You don't give yourself enough credit. You're not just a waitress, you're a leader," Jack said. Have you ever thought about what else you could do, where your strengths might take you? His question cut through layers of uncertainty. Sarah's heart raced again, this time with the thrill of possibility. She had cast her dreams aside, but the truth buzzed within her. Her skills went beyond service. They were rooted in the fortitude of a mother, a survivor. The thought struck her, what if she became more than what her current life defined her as? Honestly, I don't even know where to start, she admitted, vulnerability softening her defenses. The notion felt strange to voice, yet liberating. What if I told you that I see something in you that's worth investing in? Jack leaned closer, his voice a gentle guide in a burgeoning storm of emotions. I run a small restaurant group. We're always looking for people who know how to connect and inspire others, just like you did in there. I could use someone with your tenacity. Sarah gulped, processing his words. Could she really step into a larger role, into a life that felt more aligned with her potential? The seduction of ambition clashed hard with fear. But I don't have experience in management. These are just... Your experiences make you perfect for this, he interrupted softly. Life teaches you lessons no formal training could provide. Besides, I believe in mentorship. I can help you navigate that transition if you're willing to learn. For the first time in years, excitement enveloped Sarah. The thought of learning, of expanding, opened doors she had kept firmly shut for so long. She longed to be a role model for her children, to show them that there was strength in vulnerability and growth in taking risks. The desire to embrace her potential surged inside her, matching the rhythm of her heartbeat. But then the familiar cloak of fear wrapped around her again. If I fail, what does that mean for my kids? She asked, the weight of motherhood pressing down on her. Jack's expression softened further. Failure is not the end, Sarah. It's a step, a lesson. You owe it to yourself to try, for them. His words were a lifeline, but the tension still coiled tightly in her chest. Could she truly step outside her comfort zone? In this moment of uncertainty, every instinct screamed to protect the status quo. Yet another voice, a whisper of hope, urged her to take that leap. As the evening wore on and the diner emptied, she could feel the turning point inching nearer, the shift from doubt to opportunity. How she responded to this chance would define her trajectory, for better or worse. With a purposeful breath, she decided to lean into the discomfort. What would I need to do next? Jack's smile was broad, reflecting the flicker of possibility igniting within her. As they discussed the journey ahead, Sarah felt an exhilarating combination of fear and exhilaration. The path to her dreams began to unfold before her, but with it came a sharp realization. It wasn't just her dreams on the line, it was everything she had ever wanted to build for her children's future. Could she hold on to that vision in the turbulent waters ahead? As their conversation deepened, the question lingered. How far would she be willing to go to transform her life and embrace a future she once thought discarded? As Sarah sat across from Jack, the enormity of the decision before her loomed larger than the diner itself. Each word they exchanged felt like stepping stones laid before her, offering a path not just through fear, but toward a new identity. "What's the first step?" she asked again, this time with a sharper edge of determination. The shift inside her was palpable. It felt like the first twist of a key in a lock that had long been rusted shut. Jack leaned back slightly, assessing her with a blend of seriousness and appreciation. "First, let's get you more familiar with the restaurant's operations. You'll shadow some staff during the day, learn the ropes. Consider it an internship of sorts." Shadowing. The term struck her. It felt like an omen for an unfolding journey, but also raised questions. "And if I find it's not for me?" "Then you pivot," he answered, a nod of reassurance in his demeanor. "You don't have to commit beyond what feels right. Just try to explore without constraints. All I ask is that you put your heart into this." Could she do that? The prospect of vulnerability ignited a defensive instinct. Exposing herself to new experiences felt risky. Yet, as Jack explained the day-to-day nuances of running a restaurant, the rhythm of the kitchen, the pulse of staff interactions, something clicked deep within her. Learning the business side of things is just a small fraction. The real value comes from the people, he emphasized. You connect with them, inspire them, just like you did in the diner. Trust me, Sarah, those skills are wasted behind a counter. His faith in her seemed to hold a mirror that reflected not only possibility, but responsibility. While fear was still there, it began to morph into a complex pattern intertwined with courage. The thought of being able to model resilience for her children felt like an empowering force, one that she desperately craved. Before long, their conversation wrapped around the idea of mentorship. "What would you do if a guest complained?" Jack suddenly asked, challenging her to think under pressure. The question slapped her out of her budding euphoria. "Well, I would try to understand their concern, validate it," she replied instinctively. "Then I would work to make it right, whatever that takes." "Exactly." He seemed genuinely impressed. "You've already got the mindset. Your job is about connection, and that's what makes a leader. Think about your children. They're looking to you to see how to handle life's challenges." As she absorbed his words, a clarity washed over her. It was more than just a job. This was about crafting a legacy of resilience. It was about teaching her children through action, illustrating the importance of courage and ambition through her own transformation. "Will you help me learn?" The question fell from her lips without hesitation. "Absolutely. I'll guide you, but you have to promise to lean into vulnerability. This is about growth, and growth often hurts." His gaze was earnest, and his commitment felt like a pact formed between two souls seeking something greater. And then, just as the restaurant began to wind down around them, Sarah confronted her next barrier, her past. What would her ex-husband think of her newfound ambitions? Would he belittle this choice? The memories of past criticisms crept in like shadows, attempting to dismantle her newfound resolve. "How will I manage my fear of judgment?" she mused aloud, the question lingering in the air heavy with her doubts. "Fear is a powerful motivator, Sarah. Use it. Let it fuel your drive rather than dissuade you." His words resonated like a drumbeat, urging her onward, yet the specter of judgment loomed large in her mind. Could she persist even under the weight of others' opinions? As she left the diner that night, adrenaline coursed through her veins, urging her to embrace this nascent chapter. She had agreed to step into a world filled with uncertainties and potential failures, but also with the prospect of self-discovery, the potential to redefine who she was, not just as a mother, but as a force in her own life. Now she faced her next challenge, managing expectations, both her own and those of the people around her. Would the fear of failure give way to her burgeoning sense of purpose, or would she retreat into familiar comfort at the first sign of trouble? In the following days, the thrill of this opportunity would either solidify her resolve or pull her back into the shadows of her past choices. That thought alone kept her awake at night, igniting a quiet fire within her. What kind of person was she truly ready to become, and how high was she willing to climb before she risked falling? The following morning, she would embrace that risk, and it would begin with a phone call to Jack. But would she be prepared for the reality that awaited her on the other end? The sun glimmered through the window as Sarah paced her kitchen, the smell of morning coffee mingling with her growing anticipation. The phone call to Jack wasn't just one more step. It was the first leap off a cliff she felt both terrified and exhilarated to take. Each ring of the phone felt like a countdown, a drum roll for a new beginning she had long denied herself. "Just breathe," she whispered to herself, her heart pounding in rhythm with her determined breaths. What if Jack didn't take her seriously? What if her inexperience shone through like a spotlight? The weight of self-doubt threatened to pull her back into the familiar shadows. But it didn't. She pressed the call button. "Hey, Sarah," Jack's voice greeted her, effortlessly brightening her frayed nerves. There was warmth in the sound that steadied her. "Hi, Jack. I'm ready to start learning," she declared, fueled by a sudden rush of conviction. "Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Let's meet at the restaurant tomorrow at 9. Tomorrow? The idea of stepping into that bustling kitchen sent flutters through her stomach, a mix of excitement and fear. What should I wear? Just comfortable clothes, nothing too fancy. You'll want to be able to move around freely." In the quiet that came after their conversation, Sarah let the reality of what she was undertaking sink in. She glanced around her home, the walls filled with reminders of her past, each picture telling a story of who she was, but none revealed who she was about to become. Would she have the courage to forge a new narrative? The next day arrived far too quickly. Standing outside the restaurant, Sarah couldn't shake off the butterflies agitating her stomach. This place, the kitchen with its frenetic energy and heat, was foreign. Mirroring her own anxieties, she took a deep breath and pushed the door open, the smell of fresh food wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. Jack was already there, adjusting the seating for the day's first customers. He looked up and welcomed her with a wide smile that eased her nerves. "Ready?" "I think so," she replied, half uncertain, half determined. "Let's get started. I'll introduce you to the staff." Each interaction was a small test, a chance to showcase her ability to connect. But as Jack mingled with his team, Sarah found herself tongue-tied. Watching him engage effortlessly, she couldn't shake the nagging feeling of inadequacy as she hovered at the edge of the kitchen. "Hey, it's all about stepping into your own rhythm," Jack encouraged, sensing her hesitance. "You're here to learn, not to be perfect. Just speak up." The phrase struck a chord. She wasn't aiming for perfection. She needed to embrace authenticity. "Focus on the learning," she repeated internally, reminding herself that growth was a gradual process, shades of experience rather than a single bright spotlight of achievement. As hours passed and she observed the lunch rush, Sarah honed in on the relationships around her. Each staff member acted like a cog in a beautifully chaotic machine. Jack's guiding presence wasn't just about operations. It was about nurturing connections that made the restaurant feel like a family. She felt each shared laugh and each moment of complaint as an opportunity to learn not just skills, but the art of fostering those bonds. By afternoon, she found herself shadowing Lily, a waitress with a fierce efficiency and a knack for reading customers. "Customers are people first," Lily explained, deftly balancing trays. "When you remember that, everything else flows." The weight of her words sank in, forming a new connection in Sarah's mind. Her past experiences, her struggles, her identity as a mother could mesh into this role she was carving out. "Hey Lily," she called after a particularly tough table. "Can I ask for your input when things get stressful?" "Of course, this is your journey too. We've all been there." As the conversation unraveled, Sarah realized her initial fears were not barriers, but opportunities to forge partnerships. She could lean into these relationships rather than navigate isolation. Every challenge was not just a hurdle, but a chance to deepen her understanding and contribute meaningfully. In that moment, she caught a glimpse of her own potential. This was who she was meant to become. But as the lunch service neared its close, her ex-husband's critical voice cut through her newly forged confidence. "You will never be more than a waitress," had echoing power in her mind. But Jack's words about using fear as fuel replayed firmly. She could either allow doubt to shadow her light or make it a catalyst for her courage. Tomorrow would be another chance to face those judgments, to stand tall in the world she was beginning to build. The stakes had risen, and her determination ignited even brighter in her heart. Would she choose to see her ex-husband's comments as the fuel for her fire, or let them extinguish the flame? The decision loomed like a shadow at the edge of her journey, challenging her to embrace the growth ahead. The morning arrived with the promise of clarity. As Sarah sipped her coffee, the taste was bittersweet. Each sip recalled her fears, but also the excitement of possibilities. Today wasn't merely another workday. It felt like a battleground, a confrontation with her self-doubt and the looming shadow of her past. She arrived at the restaurant half an hour early, needing that buffer to mentally prepare. The kitchen glimmered with silverware catching the morning light, a haven of potential. Jack was already there, his presence poignant and invigorating. "You're early," he called, a grin lighting his face. "Yes, I wanted to get a feel for things before the rush," she replied, feeling equal parts eager and anxious. "Great idea. Let's start with some prep work. I'll show you how to chop vegetables efficiently." Jack demonstrated, fluid and precise, illustrating not just motion, but rhythm. Sarah tried to mimic him, her hands shaking slightly as she drew the knife across the cutting board. "Just breathe through it," Jack reminded her again, his tone steady but softer this time, a parent with a child learning to ride a bike. "But what if I mess up?" she asked, an honest query that betrayed more than just a fear of culinary mistakes. Messing up is part of the journey. It's how you learn. The reassurance buoyed her spirit, a light against uncertainty's creep. She focused on the task at hand, the sharp edge of the knife, the vivid colors of fresh produce, each slice synchronized with the kitchen's heartbeat. As she found her rhythm, her mind began to shed layers of doubt. The more she chopped, the more she felt in control. With each completed task, she struck another blow against her ex-husband's taunts. By mid-morning, the restaurant buzzed with activity. Customers filled the tables, laughter and conversation mixing with the sound of sizzling on the grill. The rush tested every ounce of her preparedness. Each customer Lily greeted was a reminder of the world outside her own, a world she wanted to become part of again. "Hey, can you take over for me at table 5? They're a handful," Lily shouted, her fiery spirit still radiating. Sure." Panic surged through Sarah as she approached the table, the weight of their attention turning into pressure. "Hi, what can I get you?" she asked, a tentative smile plastered on her face. The couple exchanged glances, a flicker of uncertainty in their eyes. "Is it just you?" the woman finally asked, and Sarah felt the small stab of self-doubt re-emerge like a long-lost acquaintance. "No, I'm part of a vibrant team," she replied, inspired by the restaurant's essence that she had begun to embrace. The couple smiled, and Sarah noted their ease as she took their order. As she walked back to the kitchen, pride flooded over her. She had done it. As the day wore on, the stress mounted, and errors happened. An order that was wrong, a spilled drink, but with every mistake, she noticed self-criticism waning. Jack's guidance echoed in her mind, an insightful mentor cultivating her insight. "Use that energy," he'd said during a quiet moment. "Embrace it." When she lingered over one particularly hard moment, doubting if she really belonged, Jack caught her eye. "Look, Sarah, everyone has those days. What matters is how you rebound," he encouraged, his voice cutting through her fog of anxiety. Standing there at the edge of chaos, Sarah made a decision. She would no longer shy away from mistakes. She would bring them into her embrace, turn them into stepping stones. This moment, the realization that every stumble was also progress, crystallized her perspective. By the close of the service, she found herself engaged in deeper discussions with her colleagues, even defending her choices during a team debrief. With each conversation, she felt a thrill of being part of something bigger. It wasn't just a job, it was a community weaving around each other. They offered support, nurtured growth, and spurred her on. As she packed her belongings later that night, a sense of fulfillment settled in the pit of her stomach. However, that nagging voice of her past still whispered doubt, reminding her of the barriers she needed to break through. Was it truly possible to redefine her narrative? Would she continue to dismantle the echoes of negativity that clung to her past? Tomorrow would present fresh challenges, each ripe with the opportunity for transformation. But first, she needed to confront herself. How deeply was she willing to delve into this new reality? With every passing day, a new realization dawned. Was she prepared to not just learn, but to thrive? The answer awaited her just beyond the next morning. The sun filtered through the restaurant's windows, illuminating the new day while beckoning fresh aspirations. Sarah leaned against the counter, her pulse racing with both apprehension and excitement. Last night's resolve to embrace her challenges hadn't dimmed by morning. Instead, it ignited an inner fire. This was more than just a job, it was her rebirth. As the kitchen hummed with activity, Jack assigned her more responsibility today. "You ready for the grill, Sarah?" he asked, his confidence in her fueling her determination. She had been dreading this moment, realizing she would be responsible for cooking directly. "Yes," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. The grill sizzled with fresh ingredients, a beautiful chaos of heat and sound that demanded her full attention. Jack stood nearby, watching her movements intently. "Focus on 3 things: timing, flavor, and presentation," he instructed, reminding her that success was a blend of different elements. As she flourished under the pressure, she started to feel the synergy of the kitchen. Moments of doubt crept in, whispering that she'd never master this. Yet with each burger seared to perfection and each dish plated with care, Sarah discovered a new confidence bubbling within her. She was more than a waiting waitress. She had the skills to create memorable meals that could brighten a customer's day. The lunchtime rush transformed into an orchestra of sounds. The chatter of satisfied diners, the rhythmic clanking of utensils, and the sizzling on the grill. Sarah adapted quickly, her mind like a finely tuned machine, processing orders, adjusting her pace, and responding to Jack's encouragement. "Good job," he cheered after she efficiently turned out a large order, a prideful smile catching him off guard. At a lull near the afternoon, she found herself winding down alongside Lily. "Looks like you're settling in nicely," Lily observed, wiping her brow. "I see a whole new version of you." Sarah smiled, feeling an unfamiliar blend of pride and vulnerability. "I don't know," she started, voice tentative. "Sometimes I still feel like the old me creeping in, doubting everything I do." Lily leaned in, her tone serious. "You need to push those thoughts away. You're stronger than you think. Trust me." The truth resonated. How much longer would she permit these memories to overshadow her perspective? It was time to confront the ghosts of her past, the ones that ridiculed her and belittled her worth. The rest of the day unfolded in an empowering rhythm. As the evening approached, the restaurant buzzed again. Sarah was responsible for overseeing a pivotal section of the dining floor, balancing her focus between the kitchen and the customers. She noted each detail: the laughter at one table, the whispering couple at another, and the lone diner retreating into a book, all reflections of lives intersecting, even if just briefly, through her service. However, a sudden error, a mix-up of a high-profile dinner order, sent her spiraling. Panic surged as the realization washed over her. The table was a significant one, with expectations looming. The slightest slip could ruin the entire night's reputation. She thought of Jack's voice. Embrace it. Gathering her wits, she approached the table of disgruntled customers. "I deeply apologize for the mix-up," she said, the tremor in her voice barely registering. "Let me make this right for you." As she watched their expressions shift from annoyance to understanding, she felt a surge of pride. She was taking ownership of her mistakes, and somehow it felt liberating. After replacing the order, she returned to the kitchen, breathless but exhilarated. "You handled that perfectly, Sarah," Jack praised, pouring her a glass of water. "This is what resilience looks like." The compliment infused her confidence with gravity. Even small mistakes could foster growth and constructive conversations. This was her life now. Courage mingled with vulnerability. Mistakes transformed into lessons. As the night wound down, Sarah packed her belongings with a newfound sense of accomplishment. Yet beneath the surface, the shadows of her past began to stir again. She had faced the first wave, but would she be ready for what awaited beyond the horizon? For setbacks that might test her resolve further? Tomorrow loomed before her, with the promise of challenges and the chance to transcend the narrative shackling her. The question now became clear. Would she rise each time she fell, shattering the chains once and for all? The morning greeted Sarah with the same bright light that had become a symbol of her renewed spirit. As she stepped into the restaurant, there was an elevated sense of purpose thrumming in her veins. Yesterday's turmoil and triumph gave her perspective, lessons learned, and renewed tenacity to face whatever came next. Jack approached her as she prepped the counter. "Ready for another day?" he asked, tone light yet knowing. Sarah could sense his commitment to her growth, a vital anchor in the whirlwind of the restaurant's environment. "More than ever," she replied, feeling the words resonate within her. But uncertainty still loomed. The previous day's mix-up haunted her thoughts, a tangible reminder of how fragile her new confidence could be. What if she failed again? Each plate she designed felt like a test of her worth. She pushed away the creeping doubts, focusing instead on the tasks ahead. The day unfolded zealously in the lunch rush, promising a frantic pace. With orders piling up, she took a deep breath, allowing adrenaline to sharpen her focus. A familiar layout, orders pulled in her head like a melody, made it easier. She maneuvered through the chaos, delivering plates and drinks, engaging with customers, her confidence slowly building with each interaction. The laughter, clinking of silverware, and sizzling sounds of cooking melted into a symphony, a welcoming chorus with which she felt increasingly in sync. But emerging beneath the surface was a sense of impatience. She wanted more. The skills she had developed felt like mere stepping stones. She craved mastery, a deeper understanding of her work. Jack had opened doors for her, but she yearned to break through them entirely. As soon as she spotted an opening, she approached him. "Can I get more involved? Maybe with prep or better understanding of the grill?" Jack glanced up, surprised but pleased. "You're eager to learn. I like that. We can delve into the sauces today if you want. You maintain creativity in the kitchen, and it's a great way to amplify your skills." With every whisk and dice, Sarah felt reignited. Her hands worked with new purpose, and for the first time, as she infused that day's special sauce with herbs and spices, it didn't feel like rote learning, but an act of creation. She relished the dance of flavors, tasting and adjusting with an instinct she hadn't known she possessed. She was lost in her task, deep in rhythm, when an unexpected visitor arrived. The owner of the restaurant, hovering around their regular table, made her stomach seize. She had heard whispers of their high expectations and fierce critiques. Determined to shine under scrutiny, she wiped her sweaty palms and organized herself, commanding clarity in her movements. But the pressure was real. Would she be ready? When orders began flying out, she felt the weight of her responsibilities increase tenfold. The owner's discerning gaze rested upon her, amplifying her insecurities. Yet, as she plated a beautifully arranged dish, mounting dread clashed with fleeting bursts of exhilaration. Were all her attempts enough? "Excellent work, Sarah." Jack's voice cut through her doubts as he joined her at the pass. "This dish nails it." In that moment, a flicker of acceptance ignited within her, mingling pride with determination. But would it last when the owner might question her choices? The reality of the day ahead loomed. Her conviction was still fragile, waiting for the next challenge to test its endurance. As she wiped down the counter, she found herself caught in an internal struggle. Would she let the opinions of others define her? Was she prepared to own her progress? The unfiltered truth of her capabilities was beginning to surface, yet past fears whispered that she had yet to truly break free. With a final glance at Jack as the kitchen buzzed around her, the stakes crystallized. The heart of the restaurant. Restaurant pulsed opportunity, but what would she risk to seize it? The next task awaited her, drenched in both uncertainty and promise. Tomorrow might reveal a confrontation with her deepest fears, the moment where she could finally shatter the chains binding her past. The question loomed heavy. Would she step into that light, ready to embrace her true self, once and for all? As the sun dipped below the skyline, casting long shadows through the restaurant, Sarah stood at the edge of a precipice, both exhilarating and terrifying. The diner, slowly winding down from the lunch rush, felt charged with anticipation. Beneath the gleaming countertops and the familiar sense of simmering meats, something significant hung in the air. The potential for transformation lay just beyond reach. Determined to harness that potential, Sarah sought out Jack during a rare moment of calm. "I'm ready to take on more," she declared with a newfound assertiveness that surprised even her. The tremors of doubt were still present, but they didn't strangle her voice this time. Instead, she infused every word with intention, vowing this time to walk the path toward expertise. Jack met her gaze, eyebrows raised in admiring surprise. "You're not backing down, are you? All right, let's prep for dinner. I'll show you how to work the grill now, but it's going to be intense." The physically daunting task ignited an excitement within her. She followed him to the kitchen, her heart racing. The grill was alive, bursting with energy, flames licking the air. It transformed the kitchen into a hollowed space full of opportunity, but also danger. The heat was intense, not just from the grill itself, but from the pressure it created. Jack handed her the tools, a set of spatulas, tongs, and a chef's knife, each feeling heavy and daunting in her small hands. "Start with a few steaks, watch the timing. Get it right and you'll feel invincible. Get it wrong and it can ruin a whole meal." His eyes bore into hers with gravity, instilling a mixture of fear and motivation. With her heart pounding in her ears, she placed the first steak on the grill, a hiss of searing flesh resonating through the hot air. This wasn't just about cooking, it was an assertion of her growth. Each flip of the steak felt monumental, a step towards cementing her place in a world that demanded excellence. Yet, as she navigated the demands of the grill, the specter of the owner loomed in the back of her mind. Had she earned the right to work the grill, or was she simply a player on borrowed time? Balancing fear and ambition, she pushed her thoughts aside, locking in to the rhythm of the kitchen. The flames, the sizzling sounds, the chaos around her faded away. But just as she began to feel competent, a flicker of doubt returned, taking her by surprise. What would happen if she burned the steak or let it overcook? The repercussions weren't simply mistakes, they were failures that felt personal, touching the very core of her insecurities. "Focus," Jack's voice cut through the haze, grounding her. "It's just you and the steak. Trust your instinct." In that moment of clarity, she shut out the noise. As she engineered the cook time meticulously, the flavors and seasonings transformed miraculously under her control. The steaks were a testament to her capabilities, a bridge between the Sarah who second-guessed herself and the chef she aspired to become. With the last of the orders flying out successfully, it dawned on her. The opportunity to showcase her ability was not just about culinary skill, but also about claiming her space in this environment. Just as she was beginning to bask in the glow of her small victory, the owner approached her, not with disapproval, but curiosity. "You're developing a solid technique, Sarah. I need to see more of this." His sharp gaze pierced through her and settled on the steaks, the weight of his approval like a cataclysmic shift in her reality. She felt exhilaration and terror blend. Was this her moment to embrace not just the praise, but the challenge of who she could become? Tomorrow promised confrontation, but this time not with fear. It was a promise that she would step into the light of her own making. What lay ahead was the vault of creative freedom, with the spark of self-belief flaring in her heart. As she prepped her station for the next day, another thought arose. What was the limit to her growth? The greater challenge beckoned tantalizingly just out of reach, and she found herself already contemplating the contours of her ambitions. How far could she push herself? Would she take that leap when the opportunity arose? The impending decisions lingered, ripe with possibility, and a whisper of dread. Would she rise or retreat again into the shadows? The answer awaited her in tomorrow's trials. The morning sun poured warmth into the diner as Sarah stepped through the door, invigorated and focused. Yesterday had marked a crucial turning point. She felt the vibrations of potential coursing through her, a newfound excitement as palpable as the rich aroma of fresh coffee wafting through the air. Over the last weeks, she had honed her skills, fighting against the quiet weight of past failures. Today, the stakes felt higher. Jack greeted her with his usual infectious energy, a subtle nod of approval reflecting in his eyes. "Ready for the big day?" he asked, his tone light yet knowing how much she hoped today would bring a fresh challenge. "Absolutely," she replied, her heart drumming in rhythm with the sizzling grill she could already hear in her mind. As the morning unfolded, Sarah eased into her routine. She had become adept at juggling multiple tasks with grace, adapting her focus with the energy of the busy diner. Each interaction with customers felt less like work and more like a vibrant conversation, the snippets of their lives weaving a richer tapestry of her day. She was no longer merely serving them, she was engaging with them. But today was different. She felt it in her bones. With the lunch rush subsiding, Jack approached her, a glint of excitement in his eyes. "You're going to take charge of the dinner service tonight. I want you to run the grill," he exclaimed, his voice steady with confidence. The rush of adrenaline hit her instantly. The grill? Just me? The thought sent a shiver of anxiety down her spine. "Yes, just you," he affirmed. "It's time to prove to yourself that you can take the lead. You've learned fast, and you're ready." Every ounce of resolve she had built surged forth with vigor. Jack's trust felt like an anchor in the storm of uncertainty, empowering her. "Okay, I'll do it," she declared, her voice firm, emboldened by the support she had received. As the hours ticked down to her responsibility, Sarah found her thoughts spiraling between excitement and nerves. Would she truly be able to handle the pressure? The faces of the diners would be watching, judging. Her ex-husband's voice echoed faintly in her mind, questioning her capabilities, taunting her past failures. But with every step she took towards the grill that night, a resolute power resonated within her. The sizzling heat washed over her like flames erupting in celebration. As she set the steaks on the grill and felt the familiar rhythm kick in, she drew in a deep breath. Jack stood close by, overseeing the commotion and lending reassurance. Focus on the meat, how it feels, how it sounds. It's your moment to shine. With the orders rolling in, her hands worked confidently as she navigated between grill and pass. The camaraderie in the kitchen bolstered her, each cheer, each nod of acknowledgement igniting her spirits further. Her initial doubts began to dissipate with every perfectly seared steak and sauce crafted with care. As the evening progressed and the diner filled to capacity, exhilaration radiated through her like an electric pulse. When a crowning moment arrived, a table filled with renowned food critics sat poised to taste her creations. It felt surreal. In that moment, the weight of their scrutiny turned into motivation, transforming fear into relentless determination. Jack clapped her shoulder, a grounding presence amidst the swirling chaos. "You've got this, Sarah. Just be yourself. They want the real you on that plate." Hours later, as the last plates of food were served, Sarah reveled in an overwhelmingly fulfilling sense of accomplishment. The critics engaged in lively discussions, their praises echoing across the crowded floor. For the first time, she felt the intoxicating cocktail of recognition and competence fill her senses. Days later, the food critics' reviews came back, singling her out specifically for her execution and flavor combination. Her heart swelled with pride. Their words acted as validation for every struggle she had endured and every ounce of effort she had poured into her craft. Jack offered her a small raise, not just as an acknowledgement of her hard work, but more so as an investment in her future. She had proven herself capable, transforming from a struggling waitress to a budding chef who had captivated an audience. With this recognition came a profound understanding of her journey. She was no longer merely a single mother trying to scrape by. She had emerged as a competent professional who could achieve greatness. Each moment of doubt, every fear that had threatened to drown her, had instead fueled her ambition. She stood taller now, carrying herself with the confidence that she had actively crafted. Her children would witness the pursuit of dreams, as she not only changed her narrative, but transformed their future. She had risen from the ashes of uncertainty, fired by ambition, to prove that with courage, one could conquer even the fiercest storms. As she closed up the diner that night, a satisfying tranquility enveloped her. Looking out at the horizon through the kitchen window, she realized she could achieve anything she set her mind to. All it took was the choice to leap. This was the moment defined, the conclusion of years spent doubting and drifting. She had triumphed, secured a future where her children could aspire for more, not just settle for the ordinary. This adventure would stretch far beyond these diner doors. Now she stood ready to embrace future possibilities, unfurling the full potential of the woman she had finally found within herself. You need to subscribe now to witness more exclusive transformations and emotional journeys. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help these stories reach those in need of inspiration. Comment below with your reactions and theories about Sarah's incredible transformation. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who could use a boost of motivation to pursue their dreams. Don't wait even one more second to support the channel.